Welcome to Marvel Movie Talk right here on Geekscape. I'm Christian Bladt of the Blackcast. Today, a big conversation about the latest Marvel film, Captain America: Brave New World. Continuing our conversation about Captain America: Brave New World, still with us, our returning champion, who, with a 5-day total of 17 beers, that's right, the man who puts the fight in the Fighting Irish, Adam Hughezy, the H-Man Hughes. Thanks for sticking around and hanging out here on the show, Hughezy.
My fucking foot.
That's right. If there's enough interest in the chat, we will indeed show a Red Hulk style photo of Hughesy's gout-ridden foot. But someone who is more lovable and beloved than gout, it is indeed America's second favorite Brooklyn boy. And I always have to explain that the first favorite is Steve Rogers, but the second favorite Brooklyn boy, David Brody. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you. Clearly, I was added post-production, much like Serpentine in the movie. So thank you for adding me in.
Yeah, well, you won't see either of us on camera with you. You know, we're in these separate boxes for a reason. Now, listen, when evaluating film, opinions are subjective, and some people enjoyed this movie. Some people, like in the earlier conversation, neither Eric Connor nor Liam McEnany particularly enjoyed it. But what does the money say about it? I want to start there because obviously that is the most important aspect as to whether or not a movie's any good. And Hughezy would be the first one to point out that amongst the greatest film franchises in history is, of course, the Fast series because of how much money it's made. Yeah. So Disney calls Captain America: Brave New World 4-day at $100 million opening, as the haters are quick to point out. That is less than Ant-Man Quantumania, which made $120 million. So they're already playing the comparison game. But, look, I think that what they're saying is with a B- cinema score, $100 million opening is actually pretty good. And Hughezy, have you seen it a second time, or did you only give so much money to the international box office?
I went to see it for a second time yesterday.
Great.
And I think about that box office thing, I think it's ironic that they focus on the American one and not the worldwide number, which was a very impressive 192 million was its debut weekend. Seeing it the second time, I still would give it a 4.5 out of 5. But I do think that the negative stuff about it, I noticed it way more, and I definitely think that there was a lot more that could be fixed, which we will get into during my hourly long rant.
Well, I can't wait for that. And yes, it is the fourth biggest President's Day weekend ever. And Black Panther was the biggest, then the original Deadpool, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Sorry, I forgot that the Wasp was a DEI hire back under that regime. I was only saying Ant-Man Quantumania, and I forgot. So, Brody, we haven't really gotten your thoughts here on the show yet, so I do want to start with you, even though I have a general sense how you felt about it. But tell our audience just overall thoughts, and then we can zero in at how they messed this up.
All right. I would like to talk about the box office numbers, but I'll give you my overall thoughts on the movie. I've realized after this film, and I think the last Venom film, that I enjoy Marvel movies so much that even when they aren't good and I can rip them apart, I still find them to be enjoyable.
Okay.
And so I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the experience of the movie. I left the theater happy. I had a good time. But also I thought the movie was terrible at points. I thought the writing was terrible. The plot was terrible. The lack of Marvel, the regular Marvel opening at the beginning was terrible. It was like having a Star Wars film without the scroll. I know why they did it. The director explained it. We can talk about that later. But I thought
I actually don't know why. Why did they not have that?
Oh, he said he was going for the espionage look of going straight into the drama. And I thought, stop trying to reinvent the wheel, you douchebag. You got to have the Marvel opening, and they didn't have it. And so as much as the beginning was a disappointment, the end was a disappointment with the lackluster post-credit scene that could have been in the movie, and they could have done something earth-shattering. But I think this movie was done so long ago that they didn't know what they could show, and they had to show something that could have been in the movie. So I think it was a cut and paste, spliced together amalgamation of whatever they could put on the screen. And again, I still enjoyed it because I love Marvel. But as we go through this podcast today, lots of holes.
Right, which is something that some of our shows do tend to focus on is the holes. Ivan Soto didn't realize there was no Marvel intro. Yeah, I mean, it's you have to kind of be looking for stuff like that. And just to let you chime in on the box office, what are your thoughts, Brody?
Well, I think the tariffs definitely affected the Canadian audience. That's very anti-Captain America as well as America.
Fair.
I would have thought maybe a media blitz of the Gulf of Captain America might have helped the box office, sell some merchandise, possibly get the name out there. But I think I'm surprised that the global numbers were so big, considering that something that is so American and Captain American might have been boycotted globally. I think the numbers may have been down because of it.
As someone who is speaking from another nation, what are your thoughts on that, Hughezy?
Yeah, we legitimately don't give a shit about American politics. I think that's one of the reasons why the TV show, the Winter Soldier and Falcon show, was so disliked, because it was like, oh great, we're on lockdown and we're all being called bigots because of American stuff. I just want to get my hair cut, but no, it turns out I'm a complete hate-filled racist because somebody's getting paid millions by Disney as they're a victim. But yeah, one of the big, I've noticed somebody say online that this Captain America is woke bullshit, and on the second viewing, at no point is race or politics, or should I say political sides, mentioned. It's just that we're part of a team. The president wants us to investigate this attack. At no point is I can't remember the character's name. Anthony Mackie's race mentioned. Is the Falcons race mentioned? I just thought that it was really ridiculous, and they're trying to act. The critics saying that oh the big red angry president. It's like no, they've had villain presidents before. It's just that it came out at a time when we have the most handsome American president in real life again.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think that
it wasn't Orange Hulk.
Our current president wishes he had a head of hair like Red Hulk, you know. And by the way, so do I. All right, so let's be honest about that.
By the way, I love that he said I couldn't remember the name of the character Captain America was the name of the character you were trying to think of.
They should have probably put that somewhere in the movie.
I need to see it a third time, but let's agree to disagree.
Yeah, I think you're right. By the way, our friend Kemi Egan checking in. Good morning, Marvelites, from a balmy 4 degrees Chicago. But more importantly, she did not like it. How do you promote Red Hulk and the character's only in it for maybe 15 minutes? It's almost like having a movie called Batman vs. Superman and they only fight for 8 minutes. It's almost like that.
I would just like to take this time to say thank you, Zack Snyder. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You know what? That's true. He doesn't get enough credit on this channel, and it takes a strong man to stand up for that. So one of the things that was lacking from our earlier conversation was talk about the new Falcon, and I wanted to kind of steer the conversation in there as we're getting started here. And, we got to know him from the Falcon Winter Soldier series. And I think that, he seems like he's just as qualified as Sam was to, pretend to be a superhero and have a bunch of cool gadgets, except for the part where he almost died. At any point, Brody, did you think like, oh, they brought us this new Falcon just so that they can kill him at some point?
I definitely had Rhodey vibes. The second Iron Man almost dying, the second, at some point, and I think I saw a review about 2 months ago talking about the MCU, and they said basically every character is Iron Man or an Iron Man knockoff. And I think just continuously putting people in a rocket suit is wearing thin on me.
Okay.
You know, where you're just putting people in a super suit. I thought the Falcon character was annoying. I thought he was like a 12-year-old boy. He was too giddy and pompous and cocky, where I knew he was going to get injured because they had made him out to be like, hey, nobody saw me, do that. Nobody said, hey, look at me. I want to meet Ant-Man. Like he's so enamored with the life. Come on, can I tag along? I just found him to be annoying, and I think you already have a Falcon because Captain America is basically Falcon with a shield now. He's still got the wings. It wasn't like he gave up the wings to be Captain America. And so I don't need a second one doing the same thing but worse. So to me, it was just, and it was an opportunity to like, oh, there's 2 pilots that went rogue. Luckily, we have 2 flying superheroes. They had just enough, like why couldn't there be 3 rogue pilots where they couldn't? It was just, again, poor writing. And he's going to be in the Avengers. I mean, come on, stop.
Well, look, every Avengers team needs a Hawkeye, all right? So there's always room for that. So Kame Egan says, Joaquin, the new Falcon, was just annoying. It seemed like the writers wanted him as the laughable sidekick. Yeah. The jokes they wrote for him had bad delivery and fell flat. And look, and Kame Egan's a sweetheart, probably the sweetest person in all of the greater Chicagoland area. So
that's not what I hear.
Well, you hear different things. And by the way, speaking of you, Chris Tuthill says, Hughezy looks fresh today. What's the story? You've been sniffing vitamin C powder by accident? And he says, afternoon all.
I don't snort anything by accident. But Brody made an excellent point, and not just because I'm trying to get a piece. But on second viewing, I hated the fact that even in this hypocritical, because I loved Iron Man so much, that the Falcon and the new Captain America can do exactly the same thing, only Falcon can do it worse. And on second viewing, it made me, I can't remember the name of her now, but she's the what's it called, Shira?
Oh, well, that's the problem is, they don't call, I don't think do they even refer to her as having the codename Sabra at any point?
No, I'm calling her Sabra as a Jew, but she was Ruth, and she was a munchkin. You're going to tell me they chose her to be a Black Widow? She was 4'8" and 43 pounds.
Somebody has to be able to take out Billy Barty, okay?
Yeah, but she looked like she could be Ant-Woman for real. But the thing about that was that I don't like it when they have 2 people on the same side that can do the same thing. If they could have at least had maybe a villain steal the Falcon suit and doing that, or maybe his sidekick had completely different abilities or powers, and as Brody mentioned as well, if it was Captain America by himself trying to stop those jets, that would have added so much more tension. But yes, I agree with Brody again.
Well, yes, of course. You know what side your bread is buttered on, as they say. And I think that, to the point of all the super suits, let's not forget that the most recent iteration of Spider-Man we got was also kind of like not even when he's Iron Spider. He's got like all the extra gadgets. So I guess they feel like gadgets sell. And look, Ivan Soto, do you really think a widow should be a specific height? I mean, I do think that there should be one of those signs outside the Red Room that says you have to be at least this tall to ride this ride. But look, there's obviously tactical advantage to, I don't know, being able to crawl under a fence, possibly being able to be tossed up against a Velcro wall. I'm not really sure what the advantages are.
But special.
Yeah, she was so short and thin that on second viewing, I had to make sure that it wasn't Patton Oswalt returning as his Eternals character.
I think it was particularly tacky, her being a Jewish character, that they gave her like 40% off because she was,
That's why Brody's here, because Hughezy and I could think that joke, but we can't even make it.
Oh no, Hughezy would say it.
Yeah. Well, I usually just save that for my DMs or alt accounts.
So, and yeah, Kame Egan, again, on fire today. When Sabra was introduced, my husband said to me, Kame, you're taller than her. So I guess we'll move on from the short jokes because we love Kame Egan.
Yeah, don't underestimate her.
And look, go ahead. Sorry.
Just going to slip in one last thing. You could see how much ADR there was, meaning they redid the audio.
Sure.
Because when Sam says to Joaquin, tell me what you learned about her, he says, oh, she's Israeli. And then they show the back of his head, and then you hear him say, whatever he said about her. But clearly they took out the whole part about her being Mossad trained and, a part of the Israeli Defense Force. And, that was just one more thing that they cut and removed from the film.
Yeah, they definitely made her a lot less Jewish instead of being the Israeli.
A lot less Israeli, yeah.
But instead of being the Israeli Captain America, they basically said, yeah, I think she went to a kosher restaurant once, but all she did is have a glass of water, so we don't have to worry about it.
Big fan of Barbara Streisand. She's cool.
Right, exactly. She's seen the good Woody Allen movies, but, after a certain point, she stopped going. And I do want to shout out Ivan Soto. Love the new Falcon. He is excited that there is this Latino superhero here. And I don't know, I guess America Chavez, he was saying, has there been one in one of the another Latino superhero?
I don't know. Reed Richards is Latino now.
That's true. In Fantastic Four First Steps, absolutely. What were you saying?
The Namor from Black Panther 2.
Okay. Yeah. Well, see, there we go. So, but
Dave Bautista.
that's true. It's hard to tell.
What's your name? Zoe Saldana from Guardians.
No. That's a different minority. This is she's green in Guardians, and and don't forget that in the Avatar film she's blue. So we need to keep that in there.
BLEW.
Not by my experience. What's that, Hughezy? You didn't know that our kids used to go to the same preschool? Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis too. Oh yeah. That's all right. It's okay to be impressed that I live in Hollywood. It's all right.
This guy Christian Brody, we were saying the other day we were doing a roundtable on David Lynch, and we were talking about how Mulholland Drive is about how the Hollywood dream doesn't work out, and we were saying the Hollywood dream of, I don't know, marrying a beautiful younger Asian woman and having kids with her, and she's got a cool job and you get to hang out all day talking about Marvel stuff. Impossible.
Yeah, that's true. That dream is not something that can be achieved by really anyone else. Just me. I think that the Falcon character will probably grow on us, but it seems like he's around, because if they didn't want him around, they certainly would have killed him. They would have had him go before Red Wing. They decided, all right, well, we'll figure it out. And there was, of course, talk that in our earlier conversation, the idea that maybe they were going to kill Thunderbolt Ross, because we know how much Harrison Ford likes to do a death scene. But they're clearly keeping him around for a reason. Go ahead, Brody.
Well, the interesting thing about you saying there was talk of them killing him, in the original trailer, there's a funeral scene, and they took that out of the movie. And so I feel like that ending was refilmed for Harrison to stay alive. But there's a lot of footage in the trailer, a lot more of Ruth. I'm going to call her Sabra. There's a lot more Sabra shots in the first trailer. And there's a lot of shots of a funeral. So initially somebody died, whether it was Isaiah or the president. Somebody died, and they changed it because they took the funeral out of the movie.
Yeah, that could have made sense that it was Isaiah. That also seemed a little bit more tacked on than it needed to be. Sort of the look, everything. This guy's story ends where everything's okay. So obviously we're all happy. But. Were you going to say something, Hughezy? I feel like you were.
Well, one thing as well that really bothered me on the second viewing is how Sam Wilson, I just remembered his name, was...
He's still Captain America, by the way. That's one of his names.
But let's not give away spoilers, please.
You're right.
but how he's physically unstoppable, and how he's getting stabbed and hit with an axe, and he get his ribs broken in that first scene, and then it's just, yeah, I'm okay. Like there was no signs of him having any type of pain despite all these fight scenes back to back. I mean, not to quote the gorgeous current president and also star of Home Alone 2, make superheroes super again.
Well,
No more humans playing superheroes, doing superhero stuff. I want to see abilities, or I don't want to see it. And it also goes back to, we mentioned the great Zack Snyder, the genius. He did this wonderful film called Justice League. I think it won the Oscar. And
I think you're right. Yeah.
That film exposed the fact that the idea of Batman being in a team with actual superheroes is stupid, because he's just a human. And why would Superman and all these ones need all this help from a person who's fragile? So I want to see lasers, and I want to see flying, and I don't want to see any more robot suits. Thank you.
Well, we do have a robot in Fantastic Four First Steps, but he seems to be more like Rosie the butler from the Jetsons, of course.
Hello, Roy boy.
Yeah, of course I'm talking about the great Herbie the robot. And in terms of your earlier comment, Echo Pineapple is here saying also MHSA, make Hughezy sober again. Is that even possible?
No, he meant to say make me Sabra again.
That would make sense. So I did indeed pause the original trailer. This was the teaser trailer that came out 7 months ago. And not that I didn't believe you, Brody. I wanted to get to this shot of the cemetery. And it is definitely a military funeral. So it would,
American flag,
It would probably be Isaiah, because I don't think that any president has, that understated of a funeral, So maybe it was indeed Isaiah who originally died in this.
Maybe. In regards to Sam being injured and not being injured, I believe, and I watched reviews that confirm this because I don't remember it, that he had a nanotech like Under Armour that he was wearing. As far as the nanotech, Spider-Man needed the costume. It just appeared on him. Iron Man, even his old armor came flying at him. Yeah. How many times was Sam without his armor and he was just like, he's just Sam? It's kind of, and I'm sorry, if you have a shield and you cover your face with the shield, someone should shoot you in the legs.
Yeah. That's what I always do personally. I always aim for the legs first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of which, who wants to see Hughesy's foot before the end of the show? Remember?
That's why I'm here.
Our previous conversation was his. We teased it. We didn't actually show it, although our buddy Eric Connor was horrified when it was DM'd to him. It is like the Red Hulk, and also like the Red Hulk. Clearly, the Red Hulk has a poor diet and drinks too much because he also has gout. But sorry, this would probably be an important comment to bring up on the screen. King of all diffs, the ultimate good egg, Hughezy rules. So, I think that there is that moment where Sidewinder is like, "Oh, I can't believe you surprised that you survived that." Excuse me, and he tells what the secret is. So clearly, someone in the editing room was like, "Wait, how did he get in? We're already reshooting this scene." Because he wasn't originally in the movie. So let's just have him ask, hey, how are you still alive? Funny you should ask. Let me tell you about that.
Not only wasn't he in the movie, there was a different Sidewinder actor that they completely cut out of the film.
Was that who you were talking about earlier, Hughezy? There was the wrestler or MMA fighter. I forget who it was.
Seth Rollins. And he originally was a Skrull. And then after reshoots, he was... a Serpent Society member, and then after reshoots again, he was replaced by Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito, aka Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
aka Stan Edgar.
By the way, there's people were trying to figure out who you were. King of All Diff says, "Who's the Tom Myers lookalike on the bottom?" And I did chime in, "Don't insult the great David Brody." And Chris Tuttle says he's a lot funnier. I don't know if you know Tom Myers, but you should definitely check out his special, "Make America Innate Again." He's a singular talent.
I will say I appreciate the comment that I'm a lot funnier, but I will point out that a lot is 2 words. I have to just say that.
Yeah. Well, Hughes has an apostrophe.
Yeah.
Sam Bibley, it's so nice of you guys to have a special needs guest on your show. No, it's my show. I do it. All right. So this is why it's a special needs show, because I'm always here. But I always appreciate it.
Whoa.
Oh, and look at this. Chris Tuttle jumps in at special needs host. All right. You know what? I'm looking away from the chat for a little while. You guys were being nice for a moment there. But I need another win for the toe, and you guys aren't giving it to me. So in any case. So I don't know. I think that I would have liked to have seen it again before we did the show, but don't worry, we're doing a third one. I'm going to try and see it before that. There's never too much to say about any Marvel movie, except I think the Eternals, which is a great transition. Did you expect, Brody, the Eternals, the most beloved MCU film, to loom so large over the storyline of really the third act of this film?
What I didn't expect was that this movie was going to be a sequel to the 2008 Hulk that nobody remembers.
Right.
Bring back a villain that nobody remembers, and then do a sequel to a movie nobody liked. So, the Eternals was a train wreck. They ignored the thing in the ocean, which, by the way, didn't raise the sea level at all around the world. Didn't cause any tsunamis.
It wasn't that big. Come on.
Right. And then somebody was like, "Oh, you know what we should do? Let's just find a way to make the big celestial," which, by the way, how does anyone know that it's called a celestial to call it Celestial Island? I'm not sure. And then they go, "You know what? Let's just use that as an excuse for adamantium. Let's just say that we got metal off the big statue in the ocean." It was just so far-fetched. I guess if you didn't see the Eternals, you were just like, okay, something came out of the ground, and now they're fighting over the adamantium. Okay. Like, it was just, we're gonna tie up. Let's see, what loose ends do we have? We need to make a plot for the Captain America movie. Let's just take some shit from the Hulk that nobody cared about, that we left hanging 17 years ago, and we'll continue on the Eternals movie. I'm surprised they didn't do like a Secret Invasion follow-up.
Oh, that's coming up. Don't worry. That's phase 6. Phase 6, they're going to do a shot-by-shot remake of all 6 episodes of Secret Invasion. It's coming. Don't worry. I found it to be a little surprising. That was one of the light spoilery things I read from somebody who saw it before I did. Was that it references two unlikely past Marvel films, and I knew one of them was the Incredible Hulk, which yes is from 2008. I believe some idiot said it was 2011, but you know what? Brody's the only one who caught it because nobody remembers that movie, so it's fine.
In the MCU timeline, it takes place in 2011, so that's a half point right there.
All right, good, yeah. By the way, that video has 2.5 thousand views here on Geekscape. If you haven't seen my recap video of everything that went for, 99% of my facts are accurate on that.
I will say that the Celestial Fist, or whatever we're calling it,
yes,
looked unbelievable on the IMAX screen.
Oh, yeah. And can you imagine what it'll look like when you watch it on your screen at the home cinema, Hughezy, in a few months' time?
Oh, baby.
Sam Bibley with a great question. So how different is this from the Aldous Huxley book, Brave New World? Honestly, it's almost exactly the same. There's really no differences in there. And Kemi Egan theorizes about the leader. His head wasn't a large brain. It was a bunch of boils. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like, something that you could probably laser away instead of the comic book version of the leader that we've all gotten to know and love.
Yeah, and why couldn't he have worn like a big Jamiroquai hat to cover it up? I thought that would have been excellent, and he could have danced and stuff. Like, this is the character, that's the real leader. Sequel.
Yeah. Do you think that Jamiroquai would be available to take over the role of the leader, or is that just too much? Hoping for too much?
That's DEI right there. Not my leader.
No. Oh, okay. Well, that's fair. All right.
And just to correct you, the singer's name is J.K. and the band is called Jamiroquai. So now you just look ridiculous, Christian.
Do I? Yeah, you know what? I probably do. You're probably not wrong.
You know what? It's the Hootie and the Blowfish syndrome. The singer's not Hootie.
I thought Hootie was the new Captain America. No.
No.
He may be the next one.
His name's not Hootie, but he does blow fish. So this is what I feel like the leader should have looked like.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it wouldn't have been that hard to give us this leader. But in any case, it's fine. It's all fine. Yeah, I guess that there was some feeling like lingering, like, we did set up these loose ends in that Hulk movie. So let's revisit the leader. I was very surprised. I'm not going to lie, because I just didn't expect that we were going to get that. And I didn't look, Tim Blake Nelson gets that call and like, hey, remember that there's like 2 months shooting you did in 2007? No, not really. Okay, well, they want you to be that character again. Like, all right, I guess I'll have to watch that movie for the first time. So, I don't fault him, but it did seem like a curious choice. But if you are using the Hulk, it is good to kind of have his, I don't know, is the leader really his Lex Luthor? I think that Thunderbolt Ross is really his main adversary, but it's like 1 and 1A. And the Great American Cupcake in the chat. Hello, boys. So was it just me, or was there foreshadowing of red throughout the whole movie? Like the director wanted the Red Hulk to be a surprise at the end, had the trailer not spoiled it? This is a great question, American Cupcake. I do believe they were teasing it, not just when his eyes started to turn red on it wasn't a submarine, but the battleship before we actually saw it happen. Is that something you noticed upon second viewing, Hughezy?
No, I I don't think it's a problem with them keeping it a secret because, like in the Great Batman versus Superman, they give away that Doomsday was in it, and why not advertise it? It looks great on the poster. It's marketing, and spoilers only work for one day because then the next day, some big mouth, no offense, Brody, spoils everything online. So I say advertise the Hulk and more of it.
Well said, by the way. I think that that's only accurate. Yeah, I mean, the question becomes that if you don't publicize that the Red Hulk is in this, what is your marketing campaign? Because the marketing campaign was Red Hulk. Yeah, go ahead, Hughezy.
Can I just say about this poster? There was some dickhead who commented on an E-Rock post, otherwise known as Eric Nigel, saying that this poster is what made him not want to see it.
Oh, wow. I mean,
it's like then you're a dickhead. Like, obviously, they're going to show the hero looking heroic on the poster. That's what the posters are for. And if you watch the film, you don't see him trading punches with the Red Hulk. I just think that that's one of the problems that we have these days with cinema goers is that they're told how to think.
Yeah.
They need someone to go, this is woke garbage. Don't go see it. Okay, then I won't. Or somebody goes, this is great. All right, I'll buy a ticket. Judge, find out for yourself. Yeah, that's the whole fun of it. Leave the house, go to the cinema, fart during the quiet parts. It's always funny. And stop letting other people tell you what to or what not to watch. I despise everybody. No offense, Brody.
Yeah. It's interesting because people will definitely sort of follow that trend of like, I haven't seen this movie, but it looks like woke bullshit. My favorite fandom that this happens for is, when did Star Trek get so woke? Oh, in 1966, about 5 minutes into the first episode. That's when Star Trek got woke.
When did the X-Men get so woke? What?
Right, exactly.
I think the problem with this poster, is, and they did a slightly better job in the actual movie, is that Sam Wilson is a dude. He's a regular dude.
Yeah.
And that shield is not going to absorb the impact of that punch. And so it doesn't look believable. Now, it wouldn't keep me from going to the movie because I went and saw the movie. And punching the Wakandan wings that disperse energy evenly, makes 20% sense. But punching that shield, Sam would have been crushed under the weight of that fist. Yeah. Which is, again, another, he made the comment once or twice in the movie I should have taken that super soldier serum. The same way that the great line in Airplane. I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue.
Yeah, Sam also picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue. Let's just
absolutely. And speaking of things that weren't in the trailer, they threw Bucky in. Boy, that was an added after the fact scene. And my favorite thing about the Bucky scene was, so Sam, your friend's in the hospital. There's a global crisis going on. Isaiah Bradley's in jail. Yeah, I got to go run for office. I see you later.
Yeah.
I mean, that part tracks. Like, oh, Bucky really is a politician now.
I gotta go. I wish I had some superpower that you don't have to help you out. And even though I'm a superhero with a superpowered arm and I have the super soldier serum, I gotta go.
Yeah. And another thing, when Harrison Ford goes, I need you to reform the Avengers. It's like, when did they break up?
Yeah, right, exactly. That's not really necessarily on the books. I think when all their contracts ran out, but that happened off screen. By the way, the only thing that I could see somebody taking a look at the poster that we're looking at, and for our audio audience, it's the poster of the Red Hulk hand punching the Captain America shield. I could see being put off by just how veiny his arm is, and I could see, like, you know what, I don't need that much vein in there when I go. And just to
you probably think that show is about you.
Thank you.
I'm just proud that Brody went with that joke and not one about a personal member.
Yes, no, exactly. I was teeing up something about Pornhub, but it's already
Hughesy's foot.
It's already gone flaccid, so we need to move on. But American Cupcake comes back and says, like, even before there was the red satellite dishes, was red everywhere in the movie. Like, almost every scene had something red in it. Look, I do think that you're right. And yes, the cherry blossoms everywhere. I think that was done intentionally. And there may have been an expectation that, okay, we'll have the Red Hulk be a reveal. But I think that it was smart marketing that I don't know what you're showing people on the posters and in the trailer if you're keeping Red Hulk a secret,
Falcon.
Yeah.
And they should have just had a life-size picture of Sabra. I keep forgetting her name. And that's just the picture, just Ruth. Her standing there, Ruth.
Even her name is short.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
This guy's good.
Wow, that's contrary to popular belief, we don't let just anybody come on this show. So that's definitely why Brody is of course here. So yeah, I think that the filmmaking, I can see sort of teeing that up. He keeps having the pills. We want to know what's in the pills, and that's what you get for trying to figure out what pills are. The leader shows up and kills you.
Another terrible scene.
Yeah.
Like, how is the leader at this place to kill the guy for finding out what's in the pills when he would have no way of knowing that the guy was analyzing the pills or when the call was coming in, nor did he know that when the call came in, that guy would walk up the hill and be all alone so no one would see him be killed. It was all just so convenient.
Well, he does study the probabilities of everything that happened, which is actually why the leader bet $10 million on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, because he looked at the probabilities that some of us didn't see. What were you going to say, Hughezy?
I agree with Brody. That scene was awful, and it made me. And that actor playing that soldier was really bad. and I bet you Seth Rollins is probably watching this going, what the fuck? I could have done that part. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Why did you take me out for this? But well, he you know what, he had too big a part, and so that's what ended up happening to him. So what are some other things that stood out for you, Brody? I want to make sure we get through your laundry list of any gripes, or I really enjoyed this sequence, or surprises, or anything that happened along the way.
I don't know if you noticed, but they did not one but two hallway fights, which I thought was like, okay, you're doing the Daredevil thing. Can we get like not two? You had to have two hallway fights. It was just, I understand you're trying to make Sam noble and you're trying to make him, so people can look up to him and be like, hey, maybe someday I too can get a super suit.
Yeah.
I will. But here's the thing. Why is it okay to wear a super suit, but not okay to use the super soldier formula? Right? You're not a guy who's fighting hand to hand on the street like Daredevil. You're using a super high tech suit that the Wakandans gave you that you'd be screwed without. He could not be Captain America really without that suit. So you're not just any guy, because any guy can't get a Wakandan suit, except apparently Falcon wants one also. So
yeah. Well, I think the problem is that you didn't read the executive order President Thunderbolt Ross signed on his first day in office, redefining the Sokovia Accords. So I think you would know that superpowers bad, cool gadgets thumbs up. It is basically it is literally the Captain America versus Iron Man dichotomy there. So
as far as the Avengers, they broke up after the Sokovia Accords. They never really officially got back together. Right. They just all fought. They all fought in Endgame, but it wasn't like that. They had a headquarters and they were a team.
Wow. No, and that's a great point. When they all got together to fight in Endgame, that was actually non-union work. So if you think about it, the Avengers were all scabs. And that's honestly why they're not back yet. But yes, and Ivan Soto is definitely right. We have no Avengers. It's been the case for years.
Yeah, we know that. Fuck's sake, we're not being 100% literal. Jesus Christ, calm down.
All right, Hughezy, do you need to have another pint or a piss or some of both?
A pint of piss. I'll go for that instead.
You definitely put them both together. Cam Egan would have liked to have seen a quick scene of Sam getting his upgraded Wakandan suit. Here's what I will say about this movie: it's an hour and 58 minutes, and to that I say thank you so much. I didn't need more than that. I think Endgame got to be, what was it, 2 hours and 58 minutes or 3 hours and 2 minutes? I forget where the 2 minutes.
It was fantastic.
It would have had to, because Hughezy, we've already done an episode where you talked about Endgame. I'm just saying it was like 23 movies built up to it. This movie didn't need to be longer. We didn't need an intermission where they freeze frame on a photo of Sam and his family, before they emigrated to America. We didn't need anything like that. So I appreciate. This is a reference to another show I do, but it did make me laugh. It's saying that my buddy Eric Zane is looking for houses in Wakanda. Thank you for that. But in any case, I think that the runtime was perfect. A movie's 2:15. I don't even think about it. As soon as you hit 2:30, I want to know why. So, Hughezy, were you able to? Speaking of piss, were you able to sit in your seat the entire time, or did you have to duck out during the film?
No, I just went in my chair. But there was definitely parts that you watched and you just thought, this could have been cut down even just by a few seconds here and there. Like the bit when Sam's fighting the guy and he frees the priests and the slut nuns or whatever they were called.
Yeah. Just nuns is fine.
And he goes, be careful. He's got a broken shoulder. It's like, you didn't need that. Like, we understand you're the good guy. And it was just too much of this stuff where it's like, I'm saying all these negatives, but I did still really enjoy it second time around.
And Brody, I think that's the same with you, right? I mean, you did start off saying that for the most part, and that's kind of where I'm at. It was fun. I don't know what those idiots I went to see the movie with, Eric Connor and Liam McEnany, they thought they were getting something different from the trailer. And other than the funeral scene that we didn't get, I don't know what they thought was going to be different from that trailer from what we actually got. I think it delivered as advertised, and I had fun with it. And by the way, the Red Hulk stuff is my favorite stuff in the movie. I thought that was a really fun sequence, mostly because he didn't decide to just, do one pinky flip and knock Sam's head off of his shoulders. I appreciate the fact that he didn't do that.
I would have liked to have seen Red Hulk calm down because of the cherry blossoms only. I think we've seen the Beast speech given in so many movies to calm down the enraged antagonist. Hey, big guy, you don't want to do this. That speech has been given in It was in Beauty and the Beast. It's in every Hulk scene. It's, the whole, you don't really want to do this. Calm down. And then, shrink back down to normal. It's been done. So the Cherry Blossoms was a nice way to go. I think they should have focused on that, not have Sam talk him down as if, he wants to kill Sam, but Sam, the guy he wants to kill, is going to talk him down. And then to Hughesy's point, that scene with is Sidewinder, I think, is the character, right? Not the one he fights in the church. By the way,
are you talking about Giancarlo Esposito or people?
No, the other guy. The other guy. He also had a name. The guy he fights. By the way, that scene was the same location they used in Loki when he went back in time with the candy bar in the church. It was the same church.
Look, there's only so many places in Atlanta, Brody.
I understand that. Yeah, I watched The Walking Dead. I saw. Speaking of Atlanta, when they went into the building, they were sneaking into the military base.
Yeah,
that was from The Walking Dead. That was one of Negan's hideouts when they go in and kill everybody in their sleep. It was the same location that they used in The Walking Dead. Anyway, that fight where Sam is fighting the guy for like 11 minutes, right?
Yeah.
It showed that Sam was a good fighter, but it also showed that he's not a superhero. Because if you can't beat some big dude and it takes you 11 minutes, and I mean, that to me, that's what ruined the film. That one scene was like the thing that was like a spotlight that Sam is just a guy in a suit. And if he doesn't have the suit or he doesn't use the suit, he's basically a bar brawler. And I don't need that in my Marvel superhero movies. I need superheroes, to Hughesy's point. So that was just an exclamation point on the fact he's just Sam Wilson in a suit. So.
Yeah, and Brody, I said to Christian the other week on the episode, the better episode, was that maybe Sam Wilson should be killed off in the next film, because it's confirmed that he's in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
And maybe it's time. This is the time to start cutting the fat. And where was like, I know it's would have been weird to just crowbar him in, but I would have thought that Shang-Chi could have been someone that could have added a different level of action to this story, because he'd be on the ground. He's got his the 10 rings.
Yeah.
Something different than another robot suit flying. But I just really love Shang-Chi. I think it's ridiculous that they've pretty much ignored that one since it came out.
Yeah, no, I think that it is a character that I still expect to see again in one of these Avengers films, but it has been quite some time since we've seen him. So to what Brody was saying, I'll bring in this cameo from Cam Egan. The quick cameo by Liv Tyler was dumb too. And I know Hughezy heard me say this earlier. I thought that that's the way that the fight was going to end, that she was going to show up to calm him down. I thought that the breadcrumbs we were getting, it's like, okay, Liv Tyler doesn't, show up in a movie just to be on the phone. So I thought that Sam would have, gone to go get her wherever she is. We didn't know where it was. She's going to calm down her dad. And that would be exactly the scene that Brody's talking about. However, it would be more effective than some guy he doesn't really like who's playing dress up as Captain America being able to talk him down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Didn't make sense.
Yeah, and it would have been even a nice joke to say for Betty Ross to be like, oh, I barely recognize anyone these days, because there's a new Thunderbolt Ross, there's a new Hulk. The whole cast is pretty much different from the Incredible Hulk she was in.
Yes, and we did talk earlier that there were a lot of questions about Liv Tyler, and I was like, all right, well then why don't you go back a generation Hulk and get Jennifer Connelly? I mean, if that's what the problem is. And I'm sorry, I got distracted by this comment from King of All Diffs. I feel my ability to get laid going down the more of this show I watch. Yes, it is basically incel fodder to talk about these nerd movies so much. On the other side of things, Chris Tuttle says, filmed these days keep humanizing the main characters that have been untouchable for years. Even James Bond cries these days.
James Bond cried at the end of On Her Majesty's Secret Service when his wife was gunned down by that son of a gun Penfold, who is a bastard, and I'm glad he got what was coming to him over the next 97 films.
Yeah, it took a little while, yeah.
You can't blame the guy for crying. His wife died. He was clearly shaken.
This guy.
And people said, "Why is Brody here? Come on." So yeah, and even Chris Tuttle agrees. Yeah, it's his wife. Yeah, so we appreciate that.
His wife, man.
She had big cans.
Yeah. How do we know?
And Ivan Soto saying heroes not acting wounded, beasts being talked down. It's the same thing in movies, not just Marvel. No, that, and Brody wasn't saying just Marvel. He was saying
I said Beauty and the Beast. They do it like it's just.
Right.
It's just such a constant cliche. I'm going to talk him down. I would have liked to have seen Hulk just punch him at that point.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, he talks about heroes not acting wounded. That's not the point. In all the other Marvel films, the hero is superhuman and has like a healing ability. Sam Wilson doesn't. That's the point. We've seen him get stabbed, and when he took his shirt off, he had the wound on his chest. I don't know about you, but I would say an axe attack would hurt. Maybe that's just Snowflake Hughezy.
Yeah.
So we're not saying, Thor should walk around going, "Oh God, I slept rough last night. That's not going to do well for me." We're not saying that. I was not paying attention.
Yeah, no. And I do believe Ivan is paying attention, but you don't want the Smart Hulk, the Green Hulk, the Bruce Banner Hulk to pass away.
Tiki Bar Hulk.
Yeah, Tiki Bar Hulk to pass away, and they're like, "Oh my God, what did him in?" Sciatica. He was so bad he just couldn't go on anymore. So yeah, I agree with you on that respect. But that's why we need like these more human characters. And I use the example of the Punisher because he is just a guy. He doesn't even have a cool suit. He has a great costume that is apparently bulletproof and not just bullet resistant. So sometimes for the story, you need somebody to be able to keep going. And Hughezy, you called it the John McCain syndrome, right? John McClane, not John McCain. John McCain was an American hero. John McClane is who I'm thinking of. From
John McCain did take a beating and kept going, so it's also fair,
right? And John McCain could have gone home anytime he wanted to, but
correct.
Only if only if you let my troops go with me. Yeah,
because Brody, I said about in like Die Hard 1 and 2, John McClane gets the crap beaten out of him throughout those two films, but then by Die Hard 4. He's hanging off the top of a fighter jet and gets thrown across a highway, and he almost literally just brushes his shoulder and walks it off. And it takes you out of it where you go, come on, at least have Sam look like he's flying while holding his chest, going like, "Oh fuck, this hurts,"
Yeah.
But I have to save people. I'm Captain America. Oh, my collarbone.
Well, in Sam's defense, he got stabbed here in the rib cage, right? He got stabbed or shot in the chest, but for some reason his left arm was in a sling. So
yeah, and have you ever noticed that? That they always seem to get hurt at the end of the film. Martin Riggs can have his shoulder ripped out of the socket, but he can have a kung fu fight in the pissing down rain with Gary Busey. But at the end of it, he turns up for Christmas dinner and he's going, "Oh, oh."
Well, I think a certain kind of strength overtakes the body when you have to face the opportunity to take down Gary Busey. But I know what you're saying. A comment from Kama Egan that I cannot resist. Liv was put in the movie because she was Ross's angel and didn't want to miss a thing. Oh. Thank you, Kama Egan. I appreciate that. If you shout out not one but two Aerosmith ballads, you will definitely get brought up on the screen. So,
Kami, I'm going to sue you.
Well, that's all right. It won't stand up in court, so I've heard. So, but Brody, I know that you have scoured some reviews. Is there any prevailing opinions, or just maybe even one you came across about this movie that you just completely disagree with? That we're talking about how this woke Captain America isn't actually that woke of a film, things like that. Is there something you read in one of the reviews that you shared, but I was too lazy to read, that you disagree with?
Well, right now, ratings wise, it's being considered the third worst, Marvel film. And I think it's probably maybe fifth or sixth. I don't.
Okay, wait. So Thor: Dark World.
No, I think Eternals was worse. No, it was Ant-Man Quantumania.
No.
I think was lower on the ratings. There's been a lot of Marvel movies out. I mean, for me, the Eternals is probably the worst, and Quantumania were my two least favorite. I think Dark World was bad. Iron Man 2 wasn't great. I didn't love the Hulk. But it was
the 2008 Hulk.
Yeah.
Stop telling me it's 2011. I don't know why you keep saying.
Yeah, a lot of people keep saying that. Yeah,
Black Widow.
Black Widow wasn't great.
Well,
but
that's a good example because as we start looking towards Thunderbolts, I mean the Black Widow movie. Scarlett Johansson had that movie like stolen from her by Yelena and Red Guardian. They were the best things in that movie. It was not Black Widow. Maybe it was because we already knew she was dead, so that could have had something to do with it, or just the fact that she looked at Colin Jost and said, "Yeah, that's the rest of my life right there." I don't know.
I mean, they totally younger and cheapered her.
Yeah,
like we'll just get another actress to play a superhero that doesn't have any superpowers and shoots, which I think was a great line by Yelena in the trailer for Thunderbolts, where she's like, "None of us fly. None of us have superpowers. Really, we just shoot and punch."
Yeah.
Although,
which is,
Yeah, I thought that was a good line, but I think she might as well have just said, "I can't believe that Ghost and Taskmaster just get killed in the opening scene," because clearly the group gets reduced at a rapid pace.
Well, Taskmaster is not in any scene other than the first one.
Yeah.
So either she's held captive or Sentry sends her into the void. My guess is they realize that Taskmaster's a great character, but nobody cares about the woman in the character, in the outfit.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they'll kill her, but Taskmaster will come back as a large man.
Played by Robert Downey Jr.
Yes. Or Seth Rollins.
All right.
For Hughezy.
Now you're making some sense.
I put it to you, Brody, not like that. That Sentry is not the villain of Thunderbolts, or shall I say,
the Void.
I think we'll see Harrison Ford's Red Hulk in Thunderbolts because he's actually in the cast.
Right, I do agree that we'll actually see him, and Daniel Drew, who has probably been going through his recently returned slabbed and graded books from CGC. Good to see that you're still watching us. He says the actual Doomsday was not in Batman vs. Superman, but what they wanted to be Doomsday was there. But I know what you're saying. It wasn't exactly what you would have wanted. I would have liked if the Cherry Blossoms plus Betty would have worked better. Well, so Daniel Drew is saying that he would have liked my ending to the movie better. So I'll leave that comment up for a little while. Thank you, Daniel. Much
or what if Betty came out and tried to stop him during that fight? That's what and Hulk accidentally injured Betty.
Oh, we've seen that movie too. But yeah, that's true. That would have been something. But,
and she could have been like living on the edge of a cliff and stuff.
Oh, what if she had a gun?
You're driving me crazy. I'm literally crying from all this Aerosmith talk.
Yeah, and then he could have turned into Pink Hulk.
You're experiencing sweet emotions, though. So
can I just say no more, no more? Is it all right if I do that?
We need to dream on for a better Captain America.
All right, let's walk this way through another conversation.
It's just gonna do that. Yep.
How much is everybody gonna hate this when I clip this part out of the show? And
well, you know what's good because there's so many characters in this movie. I got all the toys in the attic from the movie. So.
Oh God, these jokes are getting worse than rats in the cellar. We need to move on. Just push play on the recorder.
Somebody's going to have to take you home tonight, and we appreciate the fact that everybody tuned in with us. And I think that, I don't know. I mean, that surprises me because there have been so many MCU movies, and some of them are just, less than watchable. To me, all I'm looking for at this point is, did I have fun while I was sitting in the chair? Not in that way, Hughezy. Did I enjoy the film on the screen? That's actually what I mean. I realized I phrased that the wrong way. But I went with Liam McEnany and Eric Connor, so there was to be no shenanigans in the theater. I assure you of that.
The fart triangle.
You're not entirely wrong. There was a lot of popcorn in our row. That's for sure. But in any case, that to me, at the end of the day, that's all I need. Yes, there are definitely some questions, but there's not huge holes in it. I enjoyed the Marvels, and I know a lot of people did not, but there are way bigger holes to poke in that movie because those reshoots made that movie a bit of a mess. But ultimately, I like those characters. I had fun with it. And that's still to date the one MCU movie I felt like I could bring my kids to. I could bring my son to this. But I don't think I could bring my daughter. But also, my son doesn't care. He doesn't actually want to see this. So,
and you can't bring your wife to it because people would just think you're some guy harassing a woman.
Well, that's why she doesn't go anywhere in public with me, Hughezy.
Yeah,
they're just like, do you need us to call someone? Why is this guy grabbing your hand? Is he forcing you to go somewhere? That's usually what happens. We'll be at the zoo a little bit later. I'm sure there'll be an incident report filed. But Brody, are you able to, again, while you're watching it, maybe you don't want to rewatch this, but were you able to have enough fun that you walked out and like, okay, yeah, that was a Marvel movie?
Yeah, you know what? I would say one of the best parts of the movie was that AMC gave me my free birthday large popcorn and free birthday large soda.
I got those too. Yeah.
So that was I will say, waiting for the post-credit scene, I had to pee in the worst possible way. Oh. And I thought, well, I could get up knowing that the scene comes after the credits. I could run to the bathroom and have plenty of time to get back and then like hang out at the bottom by the stairs and not even have to go back to my seat. But I was worried that if I stood up and walked out to go to the bathroom, people would think I was a non-Marvel person who was walking out not knowing there was a post-credit scene. And I didn't want to get up and go, I have to pee. I know there's a scene. I was going to do that. And I decided to just squeeze it and hold it. And wait.
That's important. But look, people know that you're an actual diehard Marvel fan. You paid and sat all the way through Kraven in the theater. All right. So clearly.
I did. Well, I watched, wait a minute. In my defense, I watched Kraven so I could do the podcast with you. I would not have gone to see Kraven in the movie theater because I don't consider that a Marvel film. I consider that a Sony film.
Why do I watch any of these movies? It's so I can do these dumb shows,
Right. I enjoyed it. It was worth the $15, whatever it was for the, I went Thursday night, whatever the cost was, I enjoyed it. Yeah. But I also sat there going, oh, I'm going to talk about that on the podcast. That was stupid. Yeah. So I enjoyed the ride. Even a bad Marvel movie I enjoy, except for Multiverse of Madness, which I didn't really enjoy, and the Eternals, which I didn't enjoy. Other than that, I thought the movie was fine. I think it'll make money. I'll never watch it again. Even if it was on it came on the TV and I was like, accidentally, nope, I won't watch another minute of this thing. But it was fine.
Well, I'm waiting for the physical media release, Hughezy, so that I can watch the director's commentary. People jumped in on our Aerosmith fun. Chris Tuttle saying some real big ones in there, but I liked this comment from Daniel Drew. There's so many Aerosmith references on this show. There's going to be a copyright strike. You're not entirely wrong, but of course, the best comment in the chat is that we could get cheap viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space. Thank you for that. We appreciate that.
His comment rocks, by the way.
Yeah, I think these puns are starting to run on 9 Lives.
Yeah. Well, look, the way that this whole show works, it's all done with mirrors. And I don't know about you, but I need to take a permanent vacation so that I can get a pump.
Oh, nice. Well, maybe with your wife out and about in the town, you can get a love in the elevator,
or at least get a grip, if you know what I mean.
But Brody, I always heard that falling in love is hard on the knees, so like you got to give her a break.
That's true. Plus, when he dresses up, everyone says, "Dude looks like a lady." So,
see, that's true.
That's true.
Brody, other than being America's favorite ragdoll,
I'm crying over here.
All right, I already used that.
All right, no more.
I used that one too. But I was going to say, Brody, let everybody know where Brooklyn's favorite ragdoll can be found.
You can find me on the Brooklyn Boys podcast. It's a comedy podcast, not about Brooklyn, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find me on Marvel Movie Talk, occasionally on Marvel Book Club, and on a podcast that Christian and I are working on that may never see the light of day.
Well, it might just become. It might just. We might have to reconceptualize that show. But speaking of Marvel Movie Talk, on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, we'll be wrapping up episodes 9 and 10 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And stick around on that same stream. We will be doing the Geekscape Book Club for a Captain America story that I actually forget the name of, but I confirmed with both Brody and Eric what the what the book was. Symbol of Truth, which is from 2022. It is with Sam Wilson as Captain America. So please check that out. Check your local listings. And I have heard a rumor that Adam Hughezy, the H-Man Hughes, is Ireland's own Mamakin. I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's a lie. Maybe it's a fabrication. But where can you be found?
Well, before I give my plugs, I think we should show Brody my foot.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, why don't you give your plugs? Well, I did tease the plug. I did tease the foot. Yeah.
Show me the foot. I don't want to miss a thing.
All right. We're just doing like the same like 3 movies now.
Okay. All right.
So at the Hughezy on Twitter and Instagram, you can see it written down here below in the thing. The YouTube channel is Hughes Entertainment, and the podcast, It's Hughezy Hello, you can find everywhere. And I'm also here to brag, Christian, that not only do I have a home cinema, I was able to get it upgraded to a new projector that connects, and you can download apps to it. I now have Disney Plus installed, so I will be able to watch Daredevil each week on the home cinema screen, and I cannot wait. And I may even watch X-Men Dark Phoenix tonight, the really good one.
Glad to hear you're back in the saddle again.
Yes, exactly, and we do appreciate the fact that you're able to watch it in the home cinema.
And with the money this film's being made, if you just love to just eat the rich.
Yes, right, exactly. I need 2 more Aerosmith references while nobody wants to know the technical problems where I'm signed into the wrong X account. So
I think people are getting a little bored of these jokes. The chat seems a little jaded.
That's okay. By the time we're done, it'll all come together.
Nice. All right. I like that one. But look, if you watch this show and you hate it when it starts, you always know that we're capable of chipping away at the stone, and we will indeed get to your heart. All right. Who is ready for Hughesy's Red Hulk gout foot? And if you're not ready, it's too late.
Oh, that's terrible.
That really is terrible, isn't it?
That reminds me of my Uncle Salty.
Yes, thankfully it doesn't look like that anymore. But for about 4 to 5 days, I literally couldn't walk or bend a toe or move my foot in any way, or else it would hurt like a fucker.
Yeah, and that was not a win for the toe. I think that's probably accurate when that happened. And by the way, if you look close enough, you can see that his foot has an Adam's apple. So you can see that right there.
Okay, so my question, looking quickly, is which foot is the one with the problem? Because the one on the left has enough space in there for a football to go between the toes, and the one on the right is larger and red, but both don't look right.
Well, believe it or not, the red one is the problem.
Because the other one looks like a hand.
So I'm glad that we ended the show big, because Chris Tuthill says, "What the fuck?" And King of All Diffs gives us JFC with the green about to throw up emoji. Cam Egan gives us an ouch. And the sweetest boy in the Dabbleverse, in the MCU, Daniel Drew says, that certainly looks uncomfortable. That's true. It does look uncomfortable. I bet it was. And you almost were going to have to wear, I don't know, sandals or something to go out to the movies to see this, right?
Yeah, I had to wear flip-flops to go see Captain America, and I just had to throw them out because I forgot that I brought them into the public bathroom when I was whipping it out for a big piss. So they went straight into the bin. I don't want to bring AIDS into my house.
Okay, so I understand the foot on the right getting wider, but the foot on the left looks about 8 inches, and the foot on the right looks about a big 10 inches. Big 10 inch right there. So I'm not sure how it grew in size, but.
Oh, because there's no blood circulation going off, so it's all full of fluid.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely repeating Aerosmith references. It is
All right, we'll draw the line here.
It has definitely become the same old song and dance. So I do think.
Well, lightning strikes twice. What can you do?
Yeah, and I had to limp this way.
Well, and if Hughezy, the David Lynch conversation we had a little bit more than a week ago, that's free on the podcast, but people have to subscribe if they want to watch the video. Is that correct?
Yes, if you want to see a couple of the three men and a big-breasted Jewish lady talking David Lynch and pretending to understand all his references, you can find that at the membership tier. It's always fun to support the greedy.
Yes, right, exactly. So please do that. And King of All Diffs does have a great question. Did that foot get stuck in a nuclear reactor? You were treating it with gamma radiation, right? You were taking those pills that Ross was taking.
Yeah, it's that is when you have a very poor Christmas diet and you have too much sugar in your system, it is bad for you, which is annoying because I didn't even drink half as much as I did the previous month, so I'm furious. I was let down.
Well, it's because it came after dry January. I think your body wasn't ready for it, if I had to guess. And by the way, Chris Tuthill mentions the greatest Aerosmith song, "You're in the Pink." So thank you for that.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think that we just have to let it go at this point. All right. As Brody already said that we need to draw the line, but that is actually what we need to do here. So don't live bootleg this episode. We don't want that. We would have a real night at the Ruts. And in fact, you would put me between a rock and a hard place. That is all the time we have for now. We will have one more episode talking about Captain America Brave New World during the week. We got to find out what Katie thought about it. And maybe one of these days, Eric Nagel will be able to share his thoughts with us. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Follow me on social media at Christian DMZ. That is where you can find me. And we will always let you know when we have episodes of this show coming up, like this one that was semi-impromptu. We appreciate that. Thank you to David Brody, Brooklyn Boys Podcast, Adam Hughezy, the H-Man Hughes. Hughezy Entertainment is for all your entertainment needs. And we'll sign off with Chris Tuthill saying, good show, gotta run, DMC.
Nice.
And as the great Stan Lee would say, Excelsior!